Hello, good night. I'm here recording myself and explaining what type of grammar I choose, and I feel more comfortable with my teaching. And I would say that text based on language teaching (Tblt), and it is because the majority of the time my students have really low vocabulary, so I need to expand the vocabulary. And I notice that the majority of the time my students are really shy. They don't want to participate because they don't have too much vocabulary. So I try to always do focuses and tasks where my students learn the language and explore the language. Sometimes that I given them a little bit of help. I say some little bit of phrases so they can say the rest of the sentence. And I notice that my students are really like active learners when I teach them this type of task. And another thing I want to point out is that I think it's really essential to me to teach them grammar to my students because they need to know how to order a sentence, how is the structure of the sentence, and why they are different types of words that get together a sentence. So this helps them to improve in their speaking. So the majority of the time I always start my classes with focuses uh tasks. So after they discover the what type of vocabulary we are gonna use during the lessons, um, and have a little bit of knowledge about what we are gonna see, um, I put them to work in pairs, and I let them work in pairs because I notice they can help each other. And if one student is more weak in the language, the other one that is strong can help them to complete the task. For example, when I put them like in scramble words, the one that has more knowledge about the language help the other one, and so they order the sentence. And another test that I always use sometimes is I order a dialect. So this kind of test help them to get confident, and also like um give them like security because they work a lot in pairs and they feel like more comfortable working like that. And another thing that I would like to mention is that I try to not to give them as feedback immediately, but I do it sometimes depending on the task, especially when I'm doing like a task where I project an image. I need to correct my students at the moment. I can say, to give an example, during this week I was giving a class where we were seeing part of the prepositions of the place. So some of the students didn't know how to where was the person. So I need to tell them or correct them. Oh, look, they say you mean this is in front or next to or between. So I help them and I always encourage them to participate, and I always tell them something like, "Oh, you're doing okay. Like it doesn't matter if you didn't mention it right, but you're participating, you're doing good." And I like that. I feel always like encourage my students to don't feel shy and continue participating. So um so to conclude, I think this type of grammar is the one that I use more often, and it's because it helps me with my teaching, and it helps me with the characteristics of my group, because I think that my students needs to improve in their speaking, and that is the reason because the why I choose this type of grammar. Okay, thank you.